Today, almost anything with an on-off switch, except for the most simple lights, have at least one and often dozens, or in some cases hundreds, of semiconductors inside. The first semiconductors that were available for sale in the 1960s had 4 transistors on them. Today, if you go to the store and buy a new smartphone, just the primary chip will have at least 10 billion transistors on it. And so from 4 to 10 billion has been the rate of progress, and the price of a chip hasn't changed much. So your refrigerator, your microwave, your coffee maker, they all have chips in them too. Sometimes quite simple chips, but often increasingly sophisticated chips. And if you take a new car, for example, that car will on average have 1,000 semiconductors inside. Some of them doing things like making the windows move up and down when you press the button, but others much more complex, managing any sort of autonomous driving systems you have, for example, or communicating with the cell phone network. Semiconductors are one of the most widely traded goods internationally, and that's especially true when you think not only about chips themselves, but about the devices they make possible: phones, PCs, servers. And so today, trade-in chips is a fundamental pillar of the international trading system. It's actually so important that China spends as much money each year importing chips as it spends importing oil. Auto industry is the best example of an industry that across the world faced a deficit of chips that they needed during the pandemic. And in the US, Japan, and Europe, auto firms had to let cars sit unfinished because they couldn't acquire just often a handful of semiconductors that they needed for critical features. And the global auto industry was estimated to have lost several $100 billion in lost sales because of shortages of semiconductors. Production process is actually shockingly concentrated. For many types of advanced chip-making equipment or software or manufacturing processes, there's just a couple of companies in the world capable of undertaking the type of production that you need. And for many critical components, there's actually just one company that has the know-how to do cutting-edge production. So you've got a global market, but you've got highly concentrated production.